It's main event time.
Hey everybody, welcome to You Have to Watch This podcast. I'm Alan.
And I'm Ryan.
And today we're going to talk about
Thor Ragnarok.
We know Infinity War is out now, has been out for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that at all.
No.
Ryan still has not seen it. I have seen it once. We may be doing an episode on that soon.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen Infinity War yet, if you're one of the few people like Ryan, don't worry. We're going to try our best to avoid spoilers for Infinity War and focus on Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And by we, I mean me.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we sat down to do this episode today, I was like, oh man, this is going to be rough.
It'll be rough for you.
Yeah, because we watched the movie today, and I'm watching it, and like, oh, I know what happens. Like, I know it. Like, going back and watching this, knowing what's next.
Yeah.
It's just like, ooh, all the feels. So this came out in November.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it in theaters and bought it on Blu-ray. And last time you were over, and we did the multiple episodes to catch up on stuff.
I borrowed it.
You borrowed it, and
I haven't been able to see it till now.
Yeah. You texted me back this morning saying, hey, I'm going to watch this today. You want to join me on my new TV? It's like, yes, that sounds fun. Because all I was going to be doing today is nothing. Yeah. So here we are. We just finished watching it.
Yeah.
Overall impressions, what did you think?
I liked it.
Okay.
I really did. Because they're Marvel, like the first couple, like the first Thor movie was good. I mean, introducing the character.
Yeah.
The second one, I like how they took the feeling of the Guardians movies and kind of edged it over, because the Thor movies and the Guardians movies take place in the same realm pretty much.
Yes.
So, I mean, to have the same feeling would just be better instead of having this external, off-Earth, like the off-Earth storylines. One being Thor and Loki and being like deadpan serious, and then having the Guardians in this weird comedy world. Like, you need to mesh the two or find out where they link, because I mean, without that, it's just doesn't really work. The
first two Thor movies, like, I enjoy one more than I enjoy two.
Yeah. I think that's for most people.
Yeah. It just they had a hard time figuring out how they were going to work in this cosmic stuff into this and try to keep it Earth grounded.
Yeah.
This is the first one that's come out since Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So with Ragnarok, they already have the cosmic feel of the universe established. So they're able to play in that sandbox a little bit, and that tone and sense of humor, and you bring in like classic rock stuff into the soundtrack.
Yeah, because I mean, I mentioned they had Led Zeppelin playing.
Yeah.
Whenever Thor was fighting, and I remember I looked over at you, and it didn't really hit me at first, because the lyrics of the song is pretty much fits Thor. I'm from the land of ice and snow.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking to myself, at the same time, he's fighting this fire beast in a cave with a bunch of these undead looking things coming after him. He's fighting with a hammer, and the thing has a sword that's glowing. I'm like, this should be Rush. This should be Rush. And then you pointed out, well, the lyrics of the song, it's Led Zeppelin. Okay, fine.
It's a song.
Okay, then fine.
It's all about Valhalla.
Exactly. That works for that particular character. If it was anybody else, it should have been Rush.
I think I said to my wife one of the times we watched it, how did it take them 3 movies to get that song into a Thor movie? It makes perfect sense for that character.
Yeah.
And the established tone of this universe, where you have Iron Man coming in blasting AC/DC.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense for Thor to have Led Zeppelin in his movie. I don't know who you would put for Cap. Maybe some CCR.
For Captain America?
Yeah.
Just classic rock.
Yeah.
Just pure, unadulterated Boston, Kansas.
Yeah.
Maybe some Journey. That's a little bit of a joke, but still, I still think that would work.
What's the joke?
Journey's more of kind of the hard rock R&B side. That's kind of the,
I never heard the words journey and hard rock in the same sentence.
It's still, you'll find people. It's like everybody makes fun of Nickelback, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They're a rock band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They get made fun of because they're just generic rock
Yes.
from Canada.
Yes.
Okay. Journey in the 70s, pretty much the same thing. I mean, they've got a lot of classics now, but at the same time, like you've had, if you're a guy back then, you're into rock music, you're going to be into more of like the, more masculine rock bands. Journey was more like power ballads and stuff like that.
I guess that's fair.
So,
all right. So this movie is directed by Taika Waititi.
yes, who
Which
I had a bad taste in my mouth to begin with from
Yeah.
that vampire movie.
because we haven't released it yet, and I don't think I'm going to release it before this one because I think this is going up first.
Yeah.
We had done
Who We Are in the Shadows?
What
or-
We Do in the Shadows,
What We Do in
which
the
is
Shadows.
one of his first big
Yeah.
motion picture. It's a mockumentary about vampires, and
Yeah.
you weren't a big fan of it.
There were parts of it that were funny.
Yeah.
Like I said, but it was just, there were times, and it's him, like his character, not my kind of humor.
Yeah,
But that same humor done in the character that they did for Thor Ragnarok,
Yeah.
where he was like a rock alien, it fit.
yeah. He plays Korg in this, which
Yeah.
we'll get to Korg. But like I said to you beforehand, because we watched the Blu-rays now are doing this director introduction to the film, and I've watched his and I watched James Gunn's on Volume 2 of Guardians. Like they help establish like the tone of the movie, and like James Gunn's is very serious. Like this is what we did. Like it was great coming back together as a family, like doing this
Yeah.
again, bringing in Kurt Russell, all this stuff. And then Taika Waititi's like, hi, I'm the director of Thor Ragnarok. It's about Thor and Ragnarok.
Okay.
Like it's very much his sense of humor. And I said to you when we started watching it, like it's not just his humor in this movie, because I
Yeah.
knew you weren't a fan of it.
Yeah.
It's his humor mixed with the established Marvel humor.
Yeah, and it worked
And
because
with the callbacks
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
So
and it worked, especially with him portraying that character,
Yeah.
being a CG character, being an alien. The timing of the humor fit
mhm.
better. Like it'd be like, okay, this makes sense. He's an alien.
Yeah.
Different communication, different social. Like it fit better for me. Like I actually found that funny this
Yeah.
time.
Hi, I'm Korg, made of rocks.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that this movie does very, I don't want to say well, but very quickly, is deal with the aftermath of Thor: The Dark World. The ending of Thor 2 was Loki faked his death and took over Asgard pretending to be Odin.
Mm-hmm.
And they pretty much addressed that in the first 15 minutes of the movie and just wrap it up.
Which with maybe like 30 seconds more of dialogue at the beginning where Thor's like kind of narrating how he got in the cage.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like 30 seconds more of dialogue, maybe not even in that scene, maybe somewhere like before Thor gets to where Loki is pretending to be their dad.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even need to see the second movie.
Yeah.
To
You
be-
really don't.
To be honest.
If you want to skip that one, you totally can.
Yeah, but all you have to know is that Loki faked his death and pretended to be his dad
Yeah.
and took over Asgard. That's all you need to know to
Yeah.
go from Thor 1 to this one.
Like, go watch the CinemaSins video for Thor: The Dark World. You're better off. So Anthony Hopkins is barely in this movie.
But still, he's Anthony Hopkins,
Yeah.
and he does a great
Yeah,
job.
they shot this one in Australia, so they flew him down there just to eat grapes and lounge around in a robe.
in a robe and
And
give
then
like
die.
4 minutes of like lines, and that's it.
Yeah, because the big thing of this movie is Odin dies, and that's what releases Hela,
Yeah.
the goddess of death.
And then Thor and young Snape stood up from sitting next to.
I'm telling
Odin.
you, it's not young Snape, it's Tommy Wiseau.
He's long
Oh,
black
hi,
hair,
Thor.
long black hair, white skin, thin like pale skin, thin face, a black suit, a tailored black suit to that.
Yeah,
He was a Death Eater.
I see it. I see it. But Snape wasn't a Death Eater in the end.
Well, in the end, yeah.
Spoilers,
but,
even
but, but it's part of the character. He was
Always.
always.
Once a Death Eater, Always.
Always.
a Death Eater. One of the biggest problems I have with this movie is Odin's death scene.
I don't know. I liked it.
I liked it, but the CGI, especially in the theater, I feel like they went back and cleaned it up a little bit for the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Or it's not as in your face. The CG on the big screen was god awful. Like you could totally tell they were just standing in front of a green screen,
Ugh.
which was not fun. And this movie does something interesting that Marvel's started to do more and more of. In the trailers for this, when she destroys his hammer,
Mm-hmm.
the first trailer that they showed that, it was in an alleyway in New York. And in the movie itself, it's in this field in Norway.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that has to do with reshoots.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff in this movie that is shown in the trailers that's not actually in the movie. That being one of them, and the other being towards the end of the film, which I'll get to.
Yeah, well, that's and that's something I brought up too. Is that when Thor goes into the arena to fight Hulk,
Mm-hmm.
he turns his head, and the like electronic taser thing that keeps him under control, like
Yeah.
from like flipping out, is clearly on his neck. But
To be fair, I don't know.
feel like if that was shown on the trailer, because his neck is in full view when he yells, "Hey, that's a buddy from work," or in that scene when he yells that, you can see it on his neck.
I'm curious though if that
Because-
shot, like if it's there, I'm gonna have to
Because
look
if
up the
it's
trailer.
there, and with the way, I don't know, like I like these movies. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, but there are people out there that like go second by second, frame by frame of trailers, and they try to piece the things apart. And I really feel like that would have been one of those things, and like, you know, clickbait on Facebook, like the top 10, you know, like Easter eggs in the Thor Ragnarok trailer. Like I feel like that would have been something that would have been talked about.
Yeah, I feel like even if it was there, people would probably just be like, "Oh, hey, he's being held captive."
Yeah, but then it would be like, oh yeah, look, it's a thing. He's being held captive. What does this mean for the storyline? Like somebody would have made it a big deal.
Okay,
And then
the
it would have made
trailer.
other people make it a big deal. And for narration, Alan is right now watching the trailer on his phone.
Okay, they have his neck shadowed out.
Yeah. Okay. See,
Yeah.
they took it out.
No, they have the collar up too, so you don't actually see it.
Yeah.
You don't see his neck. It's different angles. They use
Mhm.
different angles in the trailer.
Purposely to hide it.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like that might be something that they added in CG. That way, they just didn't have to attach something to his neck.
I feel like the creators of these movies and the marketing departments are being stretched to their limits because of crazy fans.
No, I feel like they're. No, I honestly think it's that Marvel is starting to hide stuff.
They have
Because
to now.
yeah, because Thor at the end of this movie loses his eye, and there's a shot when he comes down on the bridge in the
Mhm.
trailer where both of his eyes are glowing blue.
Yeah.
But in the movie, he comes down, he's missing one of the eyes, so
Yeah.
only one eye is glowing blue. So it's and they did the same thing with Spider-Man: Homecoming. There's a shot in that trailer where Spider-Man's swinging through the web, swinging through the city, and Iron Man's flying right beside him. Not in the movie at all.
Well, of course it's not.
So, and there's a few things from the Infinity War trailers that are different. Like there's a shot of the Guardians all standing there looking at Thor, not in the movie.
Yeah.
There's a whole character that shows up in the trailers that's not in the movie at the one scene, which I'm not going to get into.
That's fine.
Um,
Well, one of the things that I did like about this, and I didn't about this movie, and I didn't pick it up, and I know that they showed it in the trailer, but I just didn't
Yeah.
pick up on it. That it's like she pulls her hair back, and it turns into this weird crown
Yeah.
thing. And I never picked that up during the trailer, but I also find it very funny because it's almost like, okay, she wears whenever she has her hair, it's down. It's
Yeah.
not tied back. It's not braided. It's down. Whenever she goes into fight, it's like she's putting it back in a ponytail. But instead of doing the ponytail thing, even though she's still doing the same thing, it's turning her hair into a crown. I just thought that was interesting.
I
It
think
was like, you know, like when like somebody's gonna be like, "That's it, I'm done," and put the hair back in a ponytail, and then either, you know, does whatever they need to do. But it's
in the
a crown.
last year, in the last year, there's been a great renaissance of Marvel villains.
Yeah.
Starting with Spider-Man: Homecoming with Vulture.
Mm-hmm.
The Marvel villains have been a lot better than they were in the past.
Yeah.
Whereas like Thor 2, you have Malekith, which is this evil elf played by the Ninth Doctor. He's kind of generic, but like this one, she's a real threat.
Yeah.
And Vulture is, you understand where he's coming from. And Hela wants revenge for what her father did. So you get her backstory. And even like the best example is Killmonger in Black Panther, which we'll get to eventually.
Yeah.
But like Hela, like with the brother-sister relationship there, like it makes it more personal.
Well, not just that. It's also you've also got the aspect of Odin was a different king. Like he was a tyrant, and he used her, and by what she turned into, he saw that that wasn't the way
The
to
error
go.
of his ways.
Yeah, exactly. And then so he banished her because she wouldn't stop. So then you've got basically like a damaged daughter. Like she was raised a certain way, then all of a sudden it was put the brakes on, and then like, hang on a second, this isn't how you raised me. We need to continue this. And then she gets imprisoned for being what she thought was what her dad wanted her to be, and then boom.
And then it makes you question Odin as a father, because he lies to Loki his whole life about being a frost giant.
Yeah.
I don't know what he lied to Thor about.
Here,
But then
here's the thing, though, and this proves something. You've got people, parents, dad, mom, whatever, who are great at what their job is, at what their personality is geared towards, and they're a great doctor, a great lawyer, a great manager, a great construction, whatever it is. They're the best in their field within the local area. Horrible at being parents. But then you've got the opposite. You've got the women and the men that aren't really the best at their job, but they can hold one down, and they're good, that they have friends. Best parents on the planet.
Yeah.
I feel like any great person, there is a likelihood, not that it always happens, but there's a definitely just as great of a likelihood of them not being the best of parents, because if people write what they know.
Yeah.
Go back to, all fiction is based on some type of truth. And there's a reason why whenever there's a movie about family issues and you have the father or the mother being this, great powerful person in whatever field that their job is in, more than likely the story's going to be about some type of drama between them and their kids.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why he's not that
Yeah.
great of a father. That was a rant. Oh, well.
No, it's fine. No, it's good.
It works.
That's why we're here. Doctor Strange is in this movie for some reason.
I
I
personally like
As
it.
much as I enjoy it, he does
Yeah.
not need to be there.
Oh, yeah, he does.
It's fun to connect the worlds and
Yeah.
have him be introduced. And I thought that... never mind. I'm not going to go there.
No, it's okay.
No, I'm not going to go there.
Why?
I thought it was going to tie into more to Infinity War.
Oh, okay.
But it didn't.
Okay, so that's all you got to say.
Yeah.
Okay. My thing, before you get to your point, and I'm sorry to
That's
interrupt
okay.
you, but I've got the hammer.
Yeah.
The reason why I liked him being in it, because who else would be the one to find out where he is? Like who better on Earth to find out where Odin is, and then be able to protect him pretty much, or get him set.
Yeah, like it makes sense for the story.
Yeah.
It got repetitive with him jumping back and
The
forth.
gag was a bit much.
The gag was too much.
Yeah. It may have been good maybe 3 times, not
the
7.
alternate take on that on the Blu-ray,
Yeah.
I liked a little bit better.
Okay, what's the
'Cause
alternate take?
It's what plays into the city street one. Like, I don't think Odin was ever in Norway in that version of it.
Okay.
It was just he was in the city and they had to go find him.
Yeah.
Which I like the part with Doctor Strange a little bit more than
Yeah.
that, because it's more just a conversation in the sanctum.
Yeah.
But
Like, I feel like it would have been better if, okay, Loki disappears into the sidewalk. Thor goes to the address, sits down, talks to Doctor Strange. The tea beer gag still happens, and then they flip to the library,
Yeah.
And then they flip to the lobby, and then the second time Thor falls because he manifests him like on the second step
Yeah.
or something, like from from the bottom, not a down the stair
Yeah.
fall, but just like over 2 steps. And then go into the whole thing about how like he was put here, I found him, he's safe, he's in this place.
Yeah.
And then do the umbrella gag
Yeah.
with everything being destroyed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the umbrella gag was still there.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Sakaar and everything that happened there. The opening scene, you're on Sakaar.
Yeah.
Like, you're introduced to Valkyrie. What do you think of Valkyrie?
Valkyrie, I liked.
Okay.
The whole like her falling off the platform.
Mm-hmm.
A bit much. Like that just screamed alcoholic, which she is. But anyway,
Yeah.
I think it would have been better if maybe like she like threw the bottle off to the side and like stumbled a little bit, but then gained her composure and walked down instead of like falling off.
I mean, that with any other, like if James Gunn directed this movie, that's probably what you get. But this is Taika Waititi, so she's gonna fall right off.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I really liked her character and her arc. Like she doesn't want anything to do with Asgard. And then Loki reminds her of her past, and in that beautiful sequence with the Valkyries fighting Hela, and like I kind of wish like the whole movie was kind of shot like that. Like that looks so good, and it's like a painting come to life. I really like that sequence, and I liked her interactions with Thor and the Hulk. She has a great relationship with him.
Yeah.
And then when the Hulk turns back into Banner, she's like, "I think I know you.
I think I know you, and I think I know you too."
Yeah.
And then he just like falls to his death.
Yeah.
Doesn't die, but that
Yeah.
was still really weird.
Yeah. Mark Ruffalo steals this movie for me.
Once he turns back into Banner.
Even the Hulk stuff, like I liked, like when he's like talking about puny Thor. Hulk,
Well,
Hulk like smoldering fire, me like big fire.
I chop that up to the CGI guys. Granted, you still need good voice acting for that.
It's not just voice acting; it's motion capture. It's Andy Serkis in Planet of the Apes and Gollum. He's doing that. He's on set, and then they put that over top of him.
Yeah.
So that's all based on Mark Ruffalo. Like that's all him. It's just they added the character afterwards. So that's his performance. Like,
okay.
Like I wouldn't. It's not like they're animating Buzz Lightyear.
Okay.
In a computer animated world,
that's true.
He's on set.
Okay.
They have that reference. He's covered in dots with cameras surrounding. It's the Avatar thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. I completely agree now. He does do a good job in this.
But when he turns back into Banner,
when he turns back into Banner, it's hysterical.
Yeah. He's like,
he wears these pants so tight.
They do a really good job of referencing not just the Avengers, but Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
They play a lot with what Banner's done in those movies and who his character was. Like bringing in Black Widow's clip. Yeah. Have you seen Age of Ultron?
The one where the city drops from the sky and kills everybody inside of it? No.
Okay. Yeah. Like the Age of Ultron tried to build this relationship between Black Widow and Hulk.
Yeah.
And it didn't work well for a lot of people. Like Black Widow would bring down the Hulk from battle, like turning back into Banner with the lullaby.
Yeah.
And then they had like this romantic relationship between Natasha and Bruce, and so like at the end he leaves in the Quinjet, and they don't know where he went. So like that's the question going into like Civil War. Like, hey, where's the Hulk? Where's Thor? Like, they're off fighting on this alien planet for Jeff Goldblum. Yeah. But I really like what they did with the Hulk in this. Like, he's smarter.
Because he was the Hulk long enough to actually do it.
Yeah. Really seals the movie for me. Mm-hmm. Like all around.
See, this is the Hulk that I've been waiting for. The one that can actually interact vocally and like can actually have thoughts.
Yeah.
That's the Thor I've been waiting to actually see.
Yeah.
So it was good. So in that regard, I was really happy that they did that.
Yeah. And his interactions with Thor are great too. because their battle is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me wishes, though, that they would not have released the fact that the Hulk was in this movie. Because how great would it be if you went into a theater opening weekend to watch this movie, and all like the gate opens and the Hulk comes out, and you had no clue. You're like, oh my god! Like
Your reaction would be the same as Loki. Granted, not as much.
no,
dread, but
your
more
your
excitement.
reaction would be the same as Thor.
Yeah.
Like yes, like if they would have hidden that fact, like.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars hid the fact that Luke Skywalker wasn't in Force Awakens.
Yeah.
If you would hide that and just make it look, they make this movie look like it's Thor versus Hela.
Yeah. With like Jeff Goldblum thrown in the middle of him
Yeah.
trying to get off like a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the internet would speculate, oh yeah, like this, he's probably going to fight the Hulk.
Yeah.
But you don't know.
Yeah.
I think that would have been great.
My favorite point of the fight is when Loki turns over to Jeff Goldblum's character and goes, no, he doesn't say that. He yells at Thor from the booth, like, that's how that feels.
Yeah, when Hulk picks up Thor and just
whips him back
whips
and
him.
forth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Willow Smith.
Yeah.
No, like in the Avengers.
Yeah,
He's,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Loki. Like he's addressing everything that's happened in the past. Like
Yeah.
Avengers, it's not like Avengers didn't happen.
Yeah.
I like how they dealt with Loki's past in this, like
Yeah.
him being with the Tesseract and playing with Odin's
Yeah.
crown.
Yeah, that I actually found interesting, especially when Thor gets back to Isengard and walks up. Did I totally mispronounce the name
You
of
said
the thing?
Isengard.
I
They're
said
taking the
Isengard?
hobbits to Isengard. The hobbits.
Whatever, their home city.
Asgard.
Asgard. Isengard? Asgard? That's too close. That's it. I'm done saying the name of that place. Okay, whatever. The city of Oz. He goes back to the city of Oz. He gets back to Oz. He goes over and he finds Loki as Odin sitting like a Roman emperor,
Yeah.
like watching a play of like Thor's, like there's an actor portraying Thor, which they got an actor that looked pretty much like him.
Do you know
a
why?
lot.
That's his
Is that his
brother.
brother?
That's his older brother.
That's his older
That's
brother.
the third
Perfect.
Hemsworth who's on Westworld.
Oh, great. Okay. So they get him and they have somebody portraying Loki, and Loki.
Did you not know who was playing Loki?
No.
Oh my God,
Who was it?
Matt Damon.
Really?
Yeah, that was Matt Damon.
I didn't.
I didn't
that
say
at all.
anything because I didn't know if you didn't say anything.
I didn't
so
pick
I was
that
like,
up.
I'm going to save that for the podcast.
Well, I mean, like he's like apologizing for everything, and Thor's actor is like, "Oh no, you're a trickster. It's okay," and build a statue for me, and all this other stuff. And like you got like the emotional singing in the background, and everybody looks upset, and then Loki is Odin is just sitting there like is happy, like it was funny.
Yeah, it's Luke Hemsworth. Luke, Chris, and Liam.
Okay.
Liam.
I did not pick up that
Yeah.
that Loki was being portrayed.
And then Odin
by,
was played by Sam Neill.
Okay.
You know who Sam Neill is, right? Dr. Alan Grant from Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's still alive?
Yeah, I said during the movie, it's like, man, he got old. And you're like, yeah. I was like, he doesn't know who I'm talking about.
No idea.
Yeah,
I'm
so
like,
and he doesn't have a scene with Jeff Goldblum, so you don't get that Jurassic Park reunion.
oh, that sucks.
But they're in the same movie, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
I think we need to talk about Jeff Goldblum portraying the part of Jeff Goldblum.
Betraying the part of a alien space ruler of a junkyard.
Yeah, I love Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum is phenomenal. Independence Day, Jurassic Park.
He needs to get back into acting though, not just portraying himself.
Yeah, he's really gotten into playing himself. Like Independence Day Resurgence, he's not playing David Levinson. He's playing Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Because like the interactions with like Bill Pullman and Judd Hirsch, like it's not the same. And this takes it up to another degree. Like he's completely like just doing a character of himself.
Yeah.
Like everybody's like got the Goldblumism, like yes,
Yeah.
science.
Exactly. It's the closest thing I can say to, because I haven't seen that Independence Day movie yet.
You're better off.
Yeah.
Or
that's what
maybe
I've heard.
we'll do it for Independence Day this year.
Okay, that's fine. One of the things I have to say is that though, with him portraying himself, To me, it always reminds me of him when he guest starred on Friends.
Yeah.
When Joey was there, like trying to get a job, and Goldblum was there trying to like get him to like get like the feeling of it. Like that's like he's going towards that. Like he's just becoming like a character of himself.
Yeah, and if you watch, like, there was a lot of stuff of him on the internet promoting this movie, like, and all of it's just like him being super weird. And I think he's gone back to acting with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Okay.
Because in the trailer, it doesn't seem like he's playing himself. Like, he's got a beard, so maybe that got him into the character of Ian Malcolm again.
But it was just it was funny though. Like him like, being like a giant kid. Like he was basically a giant kid.
Yeah, like it's perfect for that role and for what Taika Waititi does. Because it completely fits. If you were to put any other actor in that role, it wouldn't work as well as it does.
No.
Like, because it's Jeff Goldblum, that character works. The whole ridiculousness of the Contest of Champions makes sense because you have Jeff Goldblum there as the driving force.
Yeah.
If it was anyone else, like, I don't know.
Like, entertain me.
Yeah. I don't know who else you could put in that role and it would work. Maybe like 90s Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
But even that would be too hammy. Like, like Jeff Goldblum does a good balance of crazy, but also like, no, what? No.
Yeah.
Like,
like when his like security officer goes to hand him like the melting stick, and he's like, "What? Just don't hand me this. This isn't a capital
interrupting
punishment."
is not a capital crime. One last character we need to talk about is Scourge.
Okay.
The executioner.
Yeah.
That's what he's called in the comic books. That's why they made him the executioner in this. What a pointless character. Like, I love Carl Urban, but they didn't really give him much to do. It's just him standing there watching Hela destroy everything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay. Like,
his wooing of the two girls doesn't go anywhere because because the dragon's head slides in with Thor. He sees two people get killed, so he instantly surrenders. He watches her kill people.
I want to talk about those two deaths because they're they're two of the Warriors 3, which are big characters in the Thor mythology.
Yeah,
and they just get like 2 seconds of screen time.
Well,
so the Warriors 3 die.
Yeah.
Like Lady Sif and the Warriors 3 were in the other two Thor movies. Like, they're the ones who come to Earth to bring Thor back and tell him that Odin's not dead. And in this, like, Lady Sif doesn't even appear because they couldn't get her for scheduling reasons. But the Warriors 3 are just offed.
Well, yeah.
Which it upsets me.
What role are they going to have going forward?
I know, like, I get that you need to kill them so that there's not a threat to Hela.
Yeah.
But it might be better just to have them off planet and maybe have them survive, because now you can't use those characters again. Like, they're dead.
This is why, see, the only thing that makes sense to me is that after Infinity War, and I don't know what other movies have been released. I know that there's an Avengers 4 that's going to be released at some point.
All. Okay, so
like, I really feel like things are starting to come to an end.
Yes and no. Marvel has up to Avengers 4 announced.
Yeah.
They haven't announced the title for Avengers 4. And after that, it's going to be the Spider-Man sequel and Guardians 3 have been announced.
Yeah.
They don't have dates or anything yet.
See,
for sure.
To me, things
but they
are
haven't. They have
down.
dates set, but they haven't announced any titles because it's spoilers for the Avengers movie.
And that's why I really think things are starting to slow down a bit.
Possibly, but they might stop playing with Thor as much. But if they're gonna, they seem to be getting more away from Earth and focusing more on the cosmic side of things.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, maybe you want to keep Thor and some of his characters around.
Yeah.
Like keep Thor, and I would like Lady Sif is probably still alive.
Yeah.
So, but they don't address it at all.
But at the same time, you've got the universal, like, this storyline, built into the storyline, is the ultimate timeline eraser.
Into what? Infinity War?
In the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
anything.
Well,
that's
we're not talking
done-
about Infinity War.
No.
Anything?
I'm
Yeah,
not
I
talking
get
about
what you're
Infinity
saying.
War.
Anything
I'm
that's been
saying-
done can be undone.
Exactly. So built into the Marvel storyline, built into this movie series, which is now getting close to having as many movies as Star Trek. Like this is
No, they passed it.
They passed it already?
Yeah,
I thought there were like 12 or 13 movies for Star Trek.
there are 13. Infinity War was like 19.
Okay. So we've got more movies than Star Trek had.
Yeah,
But built into the storyline is a stone that you can reverse time.
yeah,
Built into the storyline is a stone where you can resurrect people.
yeah. The problem is, like, if you rely on that too much, then death means nothing.
I'm pretty sure death is not going to mean anything by the time Avengers 4 rolls around.
I think there are some deaths that will stick from Infinity War.
Okay.
I think any death before Infinity War will stick.
Okay.
So I don't think Odin's coming back.
Well, no. Well, because I mean, Odin died naturally, so I don't see that. I just dropped Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
I don't see that really being a thing. I'm just saying that either one or two things are going to happen when it comes to these stories. Which Thor, this movie was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
I did. Leading into Infinity War and then going beyond, with the way that you've got the actors are starting to age. Things are starting to wind down. Unless you can start building in these newer characters, how there's going to be, there is a different Spider-Man now that is generally accepted by a younger audience. There's a different Iron Man now that's accepted by a younger audience. Unless you can get the cinema audience of these Marvel movies, the non-comic book reader, the ones that like action films and have gripped onto this, if you can find a way for them to accept the changing of the guard, as opposed to just being like, okay, this is Avengers 6, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, this is the last Marvel movie we're doing that have to do with these characters.
Yeah.
Unless you can find a way to pass the torch with some of these people, this has to end. But at the same time, you also have the Stones.
Yeah.
Which either can be a very happy ending or a very nasty ending, depending
Yeah.
on how it goes.
They have to be careful, and I think they're going to toe the line between undoing what's been done in certain scenarios and not touching it.
Yeah.
So like there are things that will happen that I think will stick, and we'll talk about this more when we do the Infinity War episode.
Yeah.
Because I can go on for hours about this.
Yeah.
But I won't either time. So, but I think if they go the route where you're saying where they do move on from these characters, which contract wise they are moving on from at least Captain America to Chris Evans is done after 4.
Yeah.
But like, which is fine because Captain America has had this great arc of films.
Yeah.
Thor hasn't until now. Like this is the first one. Ragnarok's the first time where a lot of the audience really embraced Thor and like really liked the character. Like this was such a hit for them. Chris Hemsworth knocks it out of the park with his performance in this.
Yeah.
Because they let him cut loose and have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's not like the dark and dreary Shakespearean almost seriousness. It's more
with Thor's storyline. I can see how they can fall into the trap of that because I mean this is like
but they found the formula that works for Thor, and
exactly.
I don't want them to. I can see maybe another 1 or 2 Thor movies. I don't know where you go with Asgard being like. I would love to see them establish Asgard on Earth or whatever they do.
Mars.
Maybe
It's in the Goldilocks zone.
I think in the comics they build it on Earth, like a floating city in the sky. But I want to see more Thor outside of the Avengers movies. And I will say, not getting into spoilers. What they have Thor do in Infinity War is one of my favorite things of Infinity War.
Okay.
His story arc is probably the best.
Okay.
Because he's really the only one that they take time to address. They take time to address like Ragnarok in it. Like they pause and because you don't really get a chance to talk to. They don't really talk with Cap about like, yeah, I really miss talking to Tony. Like they don't really get that from Civil War.
Yeah.
But you get there's a moment where Thor's sitting down and just reflecting on everything that's happened over the last movie and a half, which is really nice.
So one thing, and I mentioned this as we were watching it, I like how, and I think I just mentioned it before earlier in the cast, bringing the humor of Guardians of the Galaxy and the Marvel Universe into Thor's storyline helped for me with this character.
Yes.
Because, it's like you've got, okay, fine. You've got his home, you've got his home world, everything's shiny, Roman and Greek, and he's got, very classic-ish god man, like the mannerisms. And then he lands on this planet. And I think the first thing I said was, oh, it looks like a junkyard full of old Chuck E. Cheeses, because everything's like neon. Like if it's blue, it's bright baby blue.
Yeah.
If it's orange, it's like road construction orange.
Well, there are two things about that. When they released the first pictures of Ragnarok in like Entertainment Weekly, I looked at it and was like, holy shit, I love that color. Like I love the color palette of this movie.
Yeah.
Just from the stills, I could tell I'm going to like this.
Yeah.
And the whole movie, like everything on Sakaar is like that, and it's wonderful. Probably some of my favorite visuals in a comic book movie ever.
Oh yeah. Because it
And
actually looks
it
like
draws upon the artwork of Jack Kirby. Like that's where they got those colors from. Like they took that straight from the comic books, which I really enjoyed.
And some of the background characters, because there was an alien that looked like a mannequin.
Yeah.
With like, with kind of like one of those like bodysuit skin things on, but with like a blotch of red like coming down. But you could see the outline of the nose, the chin, but no mouth, no nose, no eyes, just like a plain mannequin head. But it was in the background, so it's a creature. Like I liked the comic book aliens they had in this thing that you would see in a comic book. Like it fit. Everything that they did on that planet fit.
Yeah. And like to match the colors, you have Jeff Goldblum's performance. Like his performance
and his
matches
personality.
those colors.
Yeah, like his outrageousness fits everything else.
Yeah.
It's one of the more simpler lines, but as Thor's trying to leave the Hulk's room, he goes, "Why don't you pick a color? Red, white, pick one."
Yeah. Oh man, their interactions in that apartment are just great.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did not expect to see Hulk ass, and I'm glad they drew the line there.
Well, they would.
Thor got to see the rest of it.
Yeah.
I don't need to see that. One more thing before we wrap it up. I know you don't pay much attention to this, but what did you think of the score?
The score was nice. It was. I mean, I liked the music, and I remember you telling me one thing that got me interested listening to it was the fact that you told me it was done by the guy from one of the guys from Devo.
Yes, it was done by
and it sounded like it.
Mark Mothersbaugh.
Yeah.
So it's one of the guys from Devo's. He's done a bunch of different movie scores. He did 21 Jump Street, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Because like we were watching this at your apartment, and then the DVD menu came up, and the music started playing. You're like, "Huh, this is the music?" I was like, "Yeah, this is the music."
Right.
One thing that I do like about this movie that it does that only two other Marvel movies have done, is it incorporates a score from a previous movie in the series. So at the very end of the movie, when they're all on the ship, Thor takes the throne. That's the score from the first Thor when he's getting the crown at the beginning.
Okay.
Which I really liked. When the one thing that I've talked about before is the one thing that bugs me about these Marvel movies is they always change the theme for each character.
Yeah.
And they've gotten better at that with the new Avengers movie. Like Alan Silvestri came back and did the score, so the bum 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 ba-dum bum bum. Like that's the Avengers theme now. Like they got away from it in Age of Ultron, but now it's like nope, in your face. Like this is what it is.
You don't know what the best score part of the movie I thought there was?
What was that? Pure imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not expect. Like,
was perfect, and that was the perfect intro into meeting Jeff Goldblum, and having everything that happened afterwards was perfect because you go from him like fighting Hannah or Helen.
Hela.
Everything from like fighting Hela and seeing his dad die. Like you go through all of the seriousness at the beginning of this movie, to a point, and then she gets to their home world, back home to Oz, and because I'm afraid to say the name of it. I'm afraid to say the name. I'm afraid to say the name of it now.
Asstown.
What?
Asstown.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. She gets there and it's serious. Like it's, oh my God, this is actually happening. Like it's going to fall. And then he crash lands and he's asked, are you a warrior or are you food? And then, the whole thing with the Chuck E. Cheese, graveyard that I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, this is kind of silly. And then she gets out of the ship, falls over, walks over to him, gets him. He thanks her for helping him, and then she does the same thing they were going to do anyway. And then he comes to on a chair, and it's explaining everything to a point of like why he's there in the music, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
This is when and then you see Jeff Goldblum and everything makes sense. And then he melts a guy after he pardons him.
Yeah, he does.
It's like, oh, that just smells nasty. And Jeff Goldblum's like, oh, no, I'm stepping in it. I'm stepping in it.
It really sets you up for everything that happens on Sakaar after that point. Like, it's just pure ridiculousness. Half of this movie is serious world-ending threats on Asgard, and then Jeff Goldblum turning people to goop on Sakaar. So I highly recommend Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, same here.
Definitely my favorite of the Thor movies.
And to be perfectly honest, I'm gonna out myself. I'm gonna come out and say it as somebody who's very iffy about a lot of the Marvel movies coming out now.
Yeah.
Because and I think if anybody's been listening, I think people have seen my transition into this. Like I used to be so excited for these Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And then I'm burnt out.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed over that.
I'm just burnt out on Marvel, and it's not that. I told somebody at work this because somebody was like talking about like the Infinity War trailer that they had going on all of the TVs and electronics, and they asked me about it. And I said, no, I haven't seen it yet. And they're like, what? No, you don't like it? And I said, look, and this is how I am with a lot of movies, to be honest. I'm burnt out on Marvel. It's not because I feel that the movies are bad. It's not that I feel like they're going to suck. It's not that I feel like I'm going to be seeing the same storyline over and over and over again.
Yeah.
These movies have proved to me that every other movie I've seen, or every two out of every three movies are good, in my personal opinion. But it's the bad movies are not what's keeping me from watching this stuff like opening weekend anymore. It's just the fact that it's like every 6 months there's a new Marvel film.
Yeah.
And that's what's getting to me. It's the same. It's the same reason why I'm burnt out on the NFL. Like I used to be a huge football fan.
Yeah.
Now I'm not so much because I can't get away from it.
There were 3 Marvel movies last year: Guardians, Spider-Man, and Thor.
Yeah.
There are 2 this year. There will be 3 next year.
Yes,
with Captain Marvel, Avengers, and Spider-Man.
Exactly. And growing up, I was used to, and with how old you are, you kind of saw this too.
Yeah.
Jurassic World came out. It took 4 years for a sequel.
They were better off not doing it, though.
I know, but I'm just saying. And besides, I like a Lost World. I don't care.
Yeah, I like that Lost World too. It definitely has.
It's funny.
It's still Jeff Goldblum playing a character.
It is, and it's what I consider a fan service sequel.
The thing of for Marvel though, and they're not just telling one story. So, they have a master plan. Like they have 20. They have the next 20 years planned out.
Well, I know. And the only way to do this properly is the way that they're doing it.
Yeah.
And I totally understand that. And I get it. It's just I'm getting burnt out on the hype. Every time I turn around, there's another Marvel movie being advertised on a Pepsi can.
I think they need. I think it's gotten the past few months are a good example of that.
Yeah.
Because Black Panther came out in February, and then you had Infinity War.
Yeah.
And Infinity War came out before Black Panther was even on DVD.
Yeah.
like or on VOD. Like you can't rent that digitally or
Yeah,
buy
no.
it. You have to go see it in the theater.
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Like they might have. I know they love the opening weekend of May, but they didn't even do that this year. They moved it up so spoilers didn't get out because it was coming out in Europe. I think put a little bit more space in there because next year it's going to be ridiculous because Captain Marvel comes out in March.
Yeah.
And then Avengers 4 is in May. So that's a month and a half
Mhm.
between movies. That's
yeah.
too short.
Like
And then Spider-Man comes out in July, supposedly.
yeah, and so and that's why when I was talking to the guy at work, I drew the parallel between how I used to be with the NFL and how I am now, and how I used to be with Marvel.
Yeah.
And now, like, I love sports. I'm all about sports year round. That's why I'm a huge baseball and hockey fan.
Yeah.
Because the seasons go into each other. The problem is when it's winter and baseball is over, like, there are certain little events that I put on my calendar to, like, watch news for, but I'm not going into Sheetz or Wawa or 66 or In and Out. I just named a bunch of different places around the country so people regionally could understand what I'm talking about. See, I care about everybody. Anyway, you go into those places and you'll find a Mountain Dew can or a Coke can in the middle of the offseason for the NFL, and you've got some linebacker or some quarterback on the can. You turn on ESPN, NBC Sports, whatever, and they're talking about the top 25 high school wide receiver prospects that are going to be in the combine like 8 to 6 years from then. Like, that's what burnt me out on the NFL because it was constantly in your face, in your face, in your face. I'd be stocking shelves at work and, oh, look, Brian Urlacher is advertising this facial cream. Like, it needed, like, that's what got to me. And then what's getting to me with Marvel is that every time I turn around, like I said, there's something being advertised on something year round. And that's it was too much.
It is, but it's going to be like that.
Oh,
and it's going to get
that.
even worse if they bring in Fox and the X-Men.
And that's why, unless I already have like it off for that and like something works out, like I'll go see it, certain movies opening weekend. That's fine. It's just now I'm kind of pulling back a little bit because it's just like so much. It's so many movies.
I mean, like perfect example is Infinity War just came out, and then next week Deadpool 2's out.
Yeah.
Like,
and even though that's two different studios, still like they're so close.
Yeah, they're so close. Well, I mean, it's still Marvel.
Well,
like, he's still going to be cracking the jokes about Josh Brolin playing Thanos.
Well, I know.
So,
I know. And
I'm excited for that. Are we going to do that opening weekend? Or would you rather
look at my schedule?
Would you rather hold off for Solo?
I've got to look at my schedule.
Okay. I'll figure it out.
And this is what's partly killing me too.
Yeah.
In all honesty, like I'm trying to do this and that at the same time, and it's getting kind of crazy.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, as somebody who's like not as probably as what I would consider myself now to be kind of just the stereotypical Marvel moviegoer, this was good. Like this is up there.
Yeah, it
like,
definitely is.
Top 10 for me out of the 19.
Yeah.
So.
Which sounds ridiculous, but
yeah, I know.
Because you've seen most of them.
I have seen most of them. I haven't seen Black Panther. I haven't seen the second Avengers.
You're better off not seeing the second Avengers.
I haven't seen the second Avengers movie. I haven't seen the second Thor. And I haven't seen... Well, Infinity War just came out. I haven't seen Black Panther yet.
Have you seen Spider-Man?
Was it Homecoming?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen Homecoming. Okay, so that's 5 out of the 19 that I haven't seen. Unless you can name another one.
I don't think so, because I know we did a bunch of... We did Ant-Man and Civil War.
I've seen Iron
Guardians.
Man 1, 2, and 3. I've seen Captain America 1, 2, and Civil War. I've seen Ant-Man.
I think you've seen them all.
Yeah, I have.
All right, yeah, so it's just last year besides Guardians.
Yeah.
So, not bad.
No.
I'd definitely put this in the top... I'd put it in my top 5. Probably like number 5 for Marvel.
Yeah,
number 4.
This one's like right next to Ant-Man, and I loved Ant-Man.
No, yeah, number 4 would probably be Guardians 2. Number 3 would be Iron Man 3, ironically. And then I'm torn between 1 and 2 being between Guardians 1 and Infinity War. because I really liked Infinity War.
My favorite Marvel film was Captain America.
Yeah, I like that one too. That's like number 6, but Ragnarok knocked it out.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that's our podcast on Thor Ragnarok. Stay tuned. Eventually, we'll get to Infinity War. But yeah. So for You Have to Watch This, I'm Alan,
And I'm Ryan.
and we'll see you next time.
Can somebody give me the melting stick?
Ending the podcast is not a capital offense, Ryan.
Hey, let me have my fun.
Okay. See you next time.
See you next time.